Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Today is a big day, a great day for Chinese people. And also, today is a great day for all the people around the world. Because 80 years ago, we achieved the great victory against the fascist. Back to my beloved country in China, we achieved the great victory against the Japanese aggression. I remembered somebody used to say, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Standing at the point, standing at the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War against the Japanese aggression and the world anti-fascist war. On this occasion, it's the time for us to remember the history, to honor the heroes, and envision the future. We never forget the brutality and atrocity of the war. Back to then, Chinese theater is the battlefield in the East against the Japanese aggressors and the fascism. The battle in China features the earliest star and the largest duration. The video we just saw served a vivid reminder for this ordeal we suffered. During these 14 years, the 14 years of bloodshed, 35 million Chinese people lost their lives. Altogether, during the Second World War, the casualty was 100 million. Means 35 of the casualty happened in China. In China theater against the fascism. Also, Chinese people suffered the direct economic loss amounted at 100 billion US dollars. With the indirect economic loss at 500 billion US dollars. It's this immense sacrifice, immense human lives loss. We delayed the advancement of the Japanese aggressors in the dawn a huge number of the fascist forces, prevented them to advance to the other areas and forcefully supported the Pacific and European theaters. And finally, together with the allied countries, we achieved the final decisive victory of this war. We never forget those sacrifice their lives in this great struggle. Back to them, as we have already seen in this video. Chinese people, Chinese army were in the disadvantaged position in terms of equipment. In other words, we are badly equipped in terms of weaponry. But what we have is the courage, the spirit. The courage and the spirit just encouraging us to fight. Fight for the sovereignty, fight for the independence, fight for the rights, for the development. It's what happened in Chinese theater. Inspired the Ernest Hemingway to say, a man can be destroyed, but not defeated. That's the spirit. That's the spirit from this great struggle. We call it the spirit of the great resistance against aggression. Friends, partners, we were not alone in this struggle. Back to 1940, our first Prime Minister Barrow, led the famous Barbados Second Contingent, participated in the struggle against fascism. During the struggle, I remembered half of them, 6 members, lost their lives. It means it's not us alone to fight this great struggle. All of us participated. That's something to ensure our final victory. The purpose for us to remember this great victory, this dark history, this suffering of Chinese people is not to something related to hatred or revenge. On the contrary, the purpose for our this morning's gathering is remembering the history to prevent the tragedy to be repeated again. The enormous sacrifice and human lives lost should not, cannot be wasted in vain. Today, the world all of us are living in is still at the crossroads. Peace or war, dialogue or confrontation, mutual benefits or zero-sum game. Still, we are facing choices in terms of humanity's future. For Barbados and the other Caribbean countries as well, we shared our struggle in the past. Also, we shared challenges in the future. For courageous Barbadians, we went through a long history of struggle. Struggle against imperialism, colonialism, and the other hegemonies. It means we have the similarity, we have the commonality in terms of history. That's the reason sitting here, we can be eye to eye, because we used to struggle, used to fight shoulder to shoulder. But the most important thing is we needed to hand in hand, because our shared suffering will lead to our shared future. Thank you.